Many thanks for joining me on TMI Tuesday, and on our discussion, we did say we'll be looking at the road to 2019 elections and all of the issues emanating from this whole road process of getting to ensure that we have a very, very fruitful 2019, looking at the election year. Discussing this very vital topic with me, business expert, a public affairs analyst, or one who we regard as a stakeholder in moving the country forward. It's been always on the ground to ensure that ideas, thoughts, opinions of the viewers are shaped. It's known as that Leo Ibagwa. Many thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning, viewers.
Well, it's been on, and we can say that in the political landscape of Nigeria for almost 2 decades, there has been this issue of restructuring, there has been this issue of ways in ensuring that we galvanize our differences as a people in keeping the unity of Nigeria. But just recently, the issues about restructuring has intensified, and in the reports for today, we saw where the Joy Youths, alongside other Yoruba groups, are saying that if there is no restructuring before 2019, there will be no elections. What do you make of all of this?
You see, Philip, the truth of the matter is that the issue of restructuring has become a reoccurrence, in every administration. It will interest you to know that during the Jonathan's administration, this issue was also on the front burner. And as at that time, Jonathan, on his own wisdom, also set up a kind of a committee to look into this issue. And they came up with the result. Let's see how we can have a kind of, coming together. And
looking at the 2014 National Conference.
Yes, a national conference. And, the committee came up with that national conference. And even before Jonathan, I think Obasanjo also did something close to that. The truth of the matter is that no matter how the present administration run away from that issue, even the government after this runs away from that issue, it will still be there, because the truth of the matter is that people are very forgetful. Nigerians are very forgetful. They should have realized what led to the Civil War. They've not learned their lesson. If they had learned their lesson, seeing how bitter it was during that Civil War, they would have known that some certain parts of the country, some ethnic groups were marginalized as at then. Talk less of now, when everybody is getting civilized and more awareness is coming up. So they should understand that there's nothing they can do without restructuring this nation. A situation whereby the president will come from a certain area, and some other key officials, or the executive comes from the same geopolitical zone. It doesn't go down well with some other persons. And it will interest you to know also that all these persons that are being marginalized, they are Nigerians. If you say we must cohabit, then we must also be able to share the national cake and also share the national positions. So we can't be cohabiting, and you are always the one leading me. I should always lead you. You are not just all full of ideas. I also have ideas, and my people also have ideas. So there is no way anyone can continue to run away with this issue of restructuring. It's just a time bomb that is waiting to explode. The earlier we actually address this issue, the better for Nigeria as a country.
Okay, we understand the fact that even the president, way back, even in the independence speech, made it clear over the issues of the challenges we face as a country and how to galvanize it to become a better country. And in the New Year speech, he also made it clear that the problems we have are more of process and not structuring. Looking at that statement and the whole import of what the president's body language really entails, do you see him as really ensuring that the issues of restructuring is given a revisit before 2019?
I don't know what he meant by that issue of process. if we say process, what kind of process? Because what we're after is that, what I'm concerned about is that let me not just call names, but to some part of this country, they felt they are Nigerians. And if they are Nigerians, they have a right to also be the president of this nation. They also have a right to govern this nation. And, you know, if you now say a process, is it the process that is bringing them in, or the position that was, or it was not zoned to their geopolitical zone? So this is what when we are talking of restructure, we are talking of zoning positions to different geopolitical zones in the country. And I'm not only that, also take into the consideration the most less privileged of the most less privileged zone
in the country.
In the country. Think of that. I have never had a time that, you know, there's upon a time when a Benin man was the president of this country. Even when we are not so much, but we should be considered.
Yeah, but let's also look at this aspect where the president spoke more on how to ensure that we have a less corrupt government. Because if we ask the question, what is the biggest problem of Nigeria? Definitely leadership will prop up.
Of course.
So if we can sanitize the government from corruption, don't you think that would go a long way in cooling off all of this?
I don't think so. Corruption has nothing to do with governance. You know, the kind of corrupt system that is here in Nigeria has nothing to do with people agitating for, you know, they also want to get the first #1 seat of this government.
There are two different ball games.
There are two different things, you know, whether corruption or not. You know what? Also zone it to us, and let's see if you know, we can also deal with the corruption. Because the truth of the matter is that you keep giving money out to suppress some people. I think that's what that corruption is about. You keep telling them it will be well with you, it will be well with you, and you keep giving them handout. And these people are saying, we are not interested in this money you're giving to us. We also want, you know, that seat of the presidency.
Okay, the Niger Delta and other groups are even clamoring for some fiscal federalism, a situation where they want to control their resources.
Of course.
Isn't that what could also generate issues? Because if you want to control your resources, let's say, totally, to what extent? And what could become of the federal government in terms of running the country, having resources? Don't you think that's quite a huge task ahead?
I wouldn't blame them. If you leave this part of the country and go to places like Abuja, and when you come back home and discover that most of the resources that was used to build that area comes from the Niger Delta, you will lament.
Okay, well, we'll be taking a break on that. Well, it's this morning on ITV, and we're discussing on the road to 2019 elections. Definitely the issues of restructuring has been propping up and the political landscape of Nigeria for about 2 decades. Well, I've been discussing with Leo Ibagwa. More on this discussion comes after this break. Don't you go away.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you for still being with me on this morning on ITV. Why that break? Before that break, we did say that we are on the topic, which is on the road to 2019 elections. And while that break was on, we had the opportunity to be joined by a legal practitioner, one who was the National Publicity Secretary of the UPN, Unity Party of Nigeria, and founder of that of the chapter of the party in Bende State, and also a commissioner in that government in 1979. It's no one else but Eddie Osifo, a legal practitioner. Many thanks for coming.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right, still I have Leo Ibagwa, a public affairs analyst and a business expert with me. Thank you for staying with me.
Thank you so much.
Before the break, we had this issue of the Niger Delta trying to take agitating for resource control and ensuring that they are able to take care of their resources in that area. But looking at what we have on the sharing formula, where 56% goes to the federal government, and we have 24% to the states, and then 20 to local government. Isn't that fair enough, Leo Bagwa?
Philip, that is not fair enough. It's not fair enough in the sense that over time, these people has been calling for restructuring. And now when this is not coming through, what they are now looking at is resource control. Like I was saying before the break, if you ever leave this part of the country and go to a place like Abuja, it will surprise you the kind of infrastructures that you will see there, knowing that this money that was used to maintain these places came from the Niger Delta. So that agitation would definitely continue. You see, I told you before, there is no way we will run away from restructuring this nation. If we must exist as a country, if we must continue to exist as indivisible nation, we must come to the round table and talk and decide on how to govern this nation.
Okay.
How to govern this nation and how well to share the resources within us. So this, the way the federal government has today, has actually shared these resources, is not going down well to the people.
Okay, let me pause you there and let's join Eddie Osifo. You've been in the stream of politics way back, where we just made mention of you as were the founder of the chapter of UPN in Bende State then,
Sure.
and also you were a commissioner in that government.
Yes.
Looking at all of these challenges that we've been grappling with, the whole aspect of keeping the country united, there has been this issue of restructuring in the political landscape for about 2 decades now. What do you think about the present steps the present administration of Muhammadu Buhari is taking in resolving that?
Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, there is need to restructure, but there's no immediate need to restructure because the country is filthy. The country is a bundle of confusion. The country is a bundle of corruption. If that is so, let us cure ourselves of this malice, of these malice, of behaving well first. Because if you cut us into these pieces, the way they tell, I don't know the kind of situation they're talking. There is what is called fiscal restructuring. Fiscal restructuring was going on before the war, before the Civil War, which meant that the areas where resources were produced were taking 50% of them until the war. It was when the war came, the then Minister for Finance, Wafemi Awolowo, advocated that that policy must cease at least during the war, so that we will not be borrowing money to fight the war. And that's why we didn't borrow a kobo from anywhere, as they are borrowing now even in peacetime. So we stopped it. It was 50%. They were taking 50% from cocoa, 50% from the oil cotton production in the north, 50% from the oil production. There was not much oil production in the south.
Yes.
But during the war, they stopped it. But after the war, some people, including that Wafemi Awolowo himself, started advocating for this fiscal restructuring. That is, they should revert to this 50% sharing of the resources. The owners should take 50%. But people have not agreed to that, because the 50% or what even we gave at this time or just in the recent past were squandered. If they tell you what assistance they gave to NDDC, which didn't show anywhere, they didn't do the road from the River State to Port Harcourt, they didn't do anything. They were sharing the money. And me, I don't agree that immediately this government came in, they should have embarked on restructuring.
Okay, you seem to...
so the restructuring is necessary.
Okay.
But there are many core values we have thrown away. And if we restructure on that situation now, without first of all coming back to these core values, where we used to be in morality, in truthfulness, patriotism, and we restructure, we are going to have more problems. You see the problems arising from between communities, even Edo State.
So you seem to buy the idea of the president in his New Year speech.
Yes,
where he said that problems are more of a process than structuring.
Yes, our problem is the core values are lost, and we don't seem to be buying any type of morality, and we buy impunity. We embrace impunity and do everything with impunity.
But don't you see restructuring issues determining the outcome of the 2019 elections? Because just recently, today, we had reports where the Niger youths, Delta youths,
yes,
Ijaw youths were saying that
it will play a role.
If there is no restructuring before 2019, there's not going to be an election.
Yes.
And then the APC committee, as headed by Rufai, submitted a report which gave room for the country to be restructured. Or do you see that as a politics being played by?
I will advise them. I will advise them to bid their time. Restructuring is necessary. Maybe during the second term of the man who is trying to put things right. Restructuring is necessary, but it's not the priority of Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have very poor attitudes to many things. To work, to patriotism, very poor attitudes. We do everything with impunity. In Benin here, there's a saying, if I want to put it in Benin, Ebo Ide, that is, Ebo means government. The government cannot do anything to anybody. Do what you like.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Louis Bagua, what's your reaction in all of this?
Phillips, yeah. The truth of the matter is that I keep saying this, that without restructuring, there's nothing actually any person can do. Come 2019, I think it's even the best time to even come up with a referendum during this process of the election, to come up with a referendum. Are we to restructure? Are we to disbundle? Or are we to exist as an indivisible nation? During this period of 2019 election, this should have been some of the questions that when you come there to vote, those lists will be there, a kind of a referendum. Are we to restructure now? Like Epa has said, 2019 is just around the corner. There is no way.
Very close.
Very close.
Yes. And with the facts available to us just now, yes, there's no plan to do that.
You can't even do that now. So the first thing you have to do is that find out through a referendum, can we still exist as an indivisible nation?
Okay.
Or do we go on restructuring in 2020? I mean, in the year 2020, or do we go into a referendum? Into restructuring or disbundling? Give us a period, 5 or 10 years from now, so that we all know that okay, this country is heading towards a direction. At the moment, the country is, will I say it's on autopilot? It's an autopilot.
All right, well, it's this been on ITV, and you can follow us on our Twitter handle at ITV Radio NG to participate on this. And don't forget that you can also reach us on our Facebook at www.facebook.com/ITV Radio NG. Be involved in the topic on the ground, and by reacting to all of these certain questions, and as much as we gather posts, then we'll bring it to the viewing audience. Ensure that you are precise, and don't forget that you can also reach us through our various media platforms, social media platforms. We have our Twitter handle, like I did say, on ITV Radio NG. And looking at what we have here, Barrister Idiosifo.
Yes.
We have this whole issue. I know you want to talk about restructuring, but
I want to remind us that we have been restructuring since the military time, from 3 regions to 4 regions, from 4 regions to 12 regions, to 12 states, from 12 states to 19 states,
yes,
from 19 states to 36 states. And when we were doing all this, they told us all the problems, every problem we solved, provided the great states.
And in all of this,
we are
still in the circle.
Exactly, we reached nowhere.
Okay, let's react to what happened recently in respect of the election sequence bill, where there was an amendment, electoral bill, of the electoral 2010 bill, as the Electoral Act of 2010 as amended, which was as a bill before the National Assembly. And all of this gave rise to the president not giving his assent. What do you think of that?
The electoral bill.
Because it's of the view that well, the presidential election should hold last.
The sequence.
Yes.
The sequence.
So do you have anything wrong about that amendment as a bill before the House?
It shouldn't have been wrong, but if you change the sequence, the man who is at the shadow now must think that you are targeting him.
Yeah.
That's why we are changing the sequence. And it's unfortunate that even those who are at the point to change the sequence are supporting the changing of the sequence. That's injustice in Nigeria. Somebody like Jonathan, who did not say change the sequence when it was his election, he is now saying they should change the sequence when it is somebody's election. That is injustice.
That's injustice.
That's injustice.
So it's not right. So
it's not right.
So it shouldn't fly.
It should have changed the sequence in his own time, had the opportunity to do so.
Okay, so what you are saying is that the election sequence bill should not fly.
Should not fly because it's troubled water. They want to fish in troubled waters. The peaceful atmosphere which has been following the elections, which have been following the elections, the presidency being done first, should remain. It shouldn't be changed because they are not now there. Okay,
possibly looking at that led to the whole controversies about the stolen maize, which was later recovered under one of the flyovers,
yes,
and all of this. So that means going on this election sequence bill is like a clog in the wheel of progress.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's look at the aspect of the Omo Agege, which has been on for some days. As the custodian of the law, what is the legal implication of the whole case surrounding Omo Agege?
Yes.
Is he not supposed to be facing a criminal charge?
It's unfortunate that that incident took place, and it's a national shame that the National Assembly could be invaded and the maize taken. But if you look at the whole thing, an action begets a reaction. It's because people are chasing Omo Agege if he was responsible. That's why he went to that length. It was wrong to take the laws into his hands because there's a way of resolving it. If he went to court, as been alleged earlier, maybe such a thing wouldn't have been caught up now in this web.
Yeah.
It is a difficult thing anyway in court. You know what happens in court. It's difficult to prove that he was behind it unless there's evidence. To say under suspicion Omo Agege is responsible because the people came from this place and that place, and because he entered the hall before them and they followed to do what they did. That's difficult. Okay. But if he did so, he made a very serious blunder. If he did, I'm putting conditionally.
Okay, so he could be made to face a criminal charge. He could be made
to face a criminal charge.
Okay.
Yes, if he did so, he could be made to face a charge because.
Okay, but at present there is a restraining order yes, from the court stopping his arrest. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, you could stop his arrest, but you can't stop his investigation.
Okay.
Because the arrest should not precede investigation. They should investigate if they find him, if they prove his case prima facie that is likely from the surface of the matter, yes, he had hand in it, he could be arrested. Okay. But you don't start arresting him before you start investigating. That is what has been happening in this country. Okay. For example, during Buhari's first coming, I was kept in the prison for 2 months before they asked me any question. And when they asked me questions, they discovered that even my own account, personal account, in the New Nigerian Bank, had only 95 naira. So they apologized to me and gave me my passport back. So when they went to my village, they thought I had a very big house. They saw a mud wall, 4 bedroom flat of mud wall, built in 1958. So they apologized to me and left me. Okay. And I said, you don't know how to do this job. This job would have questioned me first, investigated me before you arrested me and kept me in jail. But I forgive you because I'm prepared to pay for the sins of Nigeria. If there was no corruption, there would have been no need to arrest me. But there was a lot of corruption in 1979 to 83. So that's what I paid for, and I didn't regret.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Looking at that, Eddie Osifo made mention of it, Leo Bagwa,
Yes.
that the election sequence bill should not be made to fly.
Yes.
What's your reaction on that?
It's quite unfortunate that that is also taken that way.
It's quite unfortunate.
Yes, because the reason being that the people who came up with that idea that the presidency has to come last, they so have this country at heart. They believe that this one-party system of government should be stopped in this Nigeria.
One-party system of government?
One-party system of government.
That's questionable.
Yes, yes. Let me tell you. Let me prove it.
Multi-party system.
No. Let me prove it to you. You see, the moment you do the election of the presidency first, any party that wins the presidency, every state follows. Then at the end, it becomes one-party system of government. So that is what they are trying to avoid. They say now decide, so okay, let us take the presidency at, let it be the last election.
Okay, but why bringing it up now, like what Eddie Osifo said? Why bringing it up now? Yes. Why not even in the time of the previous
There's no better time to bring it up now. As a matter of fact, the present administration, they are also the one they have the majority in the upper house of legislature. Yeah. So there is no better time to bring it down. This is the time, because this is the man who actually come on the matter of, we must fight corruption, we must put things in the right perspective, we must put everything in order. So this is a better time to actually do it. But it's quite unfortunate that even himself is resisting it. Why the resistance? If the people so love you, they believe in you, they trust in you, no matter, even when your election comes 2 years after today, they will still vote for you. Sure. But the issue on ground is that this issue of the presidency comes first, then every other the governorship election comes, then every other state runs to where where the center is. That is not fair for this nation. It's not fair for this country. That is not to me. That is very, very undemocratic.
Okay, but all of this controversies led to the whole issue where Omo Agege was invading the as in thugs invading the upper chambers. But don't you think in the course of going on that contentious bill,
yes,
it will be more of putting a clog in the wheel of progress than even solving the problem of our Nigerian democracy?
No. It will even help the country more better. The issue of Omo Agege, there's nothing like an invasion. There's nothing like an invasion of the National Assembly. To me, that's a premeditated act, and that was an organized crime. Otherwise, don't we have the police force that provides security for the National Assembly? Where were they when an intruder came in? That person was given a clean slate to pass. So there was nothing like an invasion. To me, that was just a national disgrace. What you see there is a play out of a weak institution that we have been talking about in this country.
Okay, but if you look at this closely, the contentious election sequence bill,
yes,
somehow the view that is a deliberate act by the Saraki-led National Assembly to taunt the president.
After all, they are of the same party. How can it be of the same? How can it be a deliberate act? Both of them are the same party. So I don't see anything deliberate here. The truth of the matter is that what they have in focus, what they have in view, is this issue of one party. Like I said before, one party system. A particular party wins the presidency. Every other state, follows. That was what they are trying to avoid, so that we cannot have a kind of a coloration. The beauty of democracy, that at least even when the presidency is from a different party, it could be from a party that don't even win a governorship election. That will bring add color and glamour to the political system. So whatever they were doing, what they had in mind was the beauty of democracy. You also look at what is happening in the state, in the states when they go for a local government election, when it becomes 18 over 18. Where's the beauty of democracy? That is what the kind of things they want to avoid in the National Assembly. They want to make sure that even when we have about something state, if 15 goes there and 16 goes there, you know, or probably 5 goes here and a new party emerge and even take about 3 states for governorship, then there's something bad in it. Instead of, a particular party has won the presidency and every state just, you know, want to turn to the center. Okay. So to me, I think it was the best thing they proposed. And I'm not a lawyer, but I also know that, I'm not a lawyer, but I have a view, or I have a belief that now that the National Assembly has passed that bill, I think Daddy can confirm that if it is possible that it becomes a law without the assent of the president after 3 months. Okay. So I don't know.
Well, information reaching us is that at present the lower chambers has dropped that case, the contentious election sequence bill. But we understand that the Senate will be having, the legislators will be having, the upper chambers will be having a meeting, a sitting today. Well, let's see how that unfolds. But what's your thoughts in terms of having a better election year, 2019? What's your advice for the present government?
Yes, my advice is that the elections should be transparent. It should be like the elections in the first and second republics of Nigeria. The presidency should not interfere with it at all. And the state should stop interfering with local government elections. It is wrong, because in the First Republic, we didn't have National Electoral Commission. Every region organized its own election. Ahmadu Bello was in charge of the north, Awolowo was in charge of the west, and Azikiwe was in charge of the east. In the west, opposition party like the NCNC was winning elections in Bende, or the then Midwest, Ilesha, Ibadan, Lagos. These areas were under the western region. The NCNC was winning it straight. And in the north, the NPC was not winning in the middle belt so much. They were not winning, and they were not even able to defeat Aminu Kano in Kano. Aminu Kano's party was winning in Kano. In the east, Chikobi was winning in Onitsha. NCNC was in charge. But the corruption became rife during the third and fourth dispute republics, where a state government will be unfair to the other parties and not allow any other party to win. And even when they win, they are reluctant, they are loath to swear them to power, to swear the chairman or whoever wins to power.
Okay.
It's intolerable, it's not acceptable in any nation.
In as much as I understand your analysis.
This sequence they are talking does not actually matter too much. But it is in bad faith for a government that people who just left government, they are advocating the change of sequence.
All right.
That is the injustice what pains us. Okay. Why we don't appear to support it.
Okay,
it's not that it's not the ideal thing to do.
Very quickly, I would also want your contribution in respect of, because we understand as globally accepted that the youths are the agents of change and societal transformation.
That is true.
What's your reaction over the statement of the president in London regarding the youths, the average
the youths, the president don't make any poor remark about the youths. He says some of the youths are lazy. If you don't agree with it, go and study the situation.
But was that statement necessary?
Very necessary. That is the true position.
Looking at the forum,
that is
where you want to woo investors.
No. The investors,
your country?
The investors we are talking about love truth. If you tell them the opposite, they start doubting you and they will run away from investment. Go and look at the situation. The investors are coming more because they believe in the man who is ruling. And they believe in his truth. Like the former Prime Minister of Britain said, Nigerians are fantastically corrupt. And then Nigerians said Buhari did not react violently against that statement. Buhari only mocked the man by saying, yes, they are corrupt. All the money they stole, you kept it. Bring it to us. Which was very, humorously, which was very good. But the Nigerians cried against it. Nigerians want to hide all their sins under the carpet. But the people that hide me from know it more than yourself. Because the white man likes truth. If you don't tell him the truth, you are driving him away. You will admit the truth first. That, well, I'm a rogue. I will apologize, I will change now. He will forgive you. But the way Nigerians are doing it, if their child is a rogue, they like to keep that child, hide all the facts about him.
All right.
And if the country is poor of anything, they like to hide it.
Okay.
Buhari is the type of man they would like. That is why investors are coming more. That's why they are assisting him more. That's why they are giving red carpet treatment in Britain, America, Germany, and USA.
Okay, Leo Bagwa, what do you think is the implication of that speech by the president on the average Nigerian youth?
It's quite unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate.
They hate it. They hate it.
It's quite unfortunate.
Yes.
I was in secondary school.
But do you agree that is true?
That is not true. The Nigerian youths are the most hardworking people I know. They are the most hardworking people I know. In 1983, when I was in secondary school, the president I know, or the head of state I know then, was Buhari. And today, this is the same man governing me. You see, the issue here is that it's quite unfortunate that people who were the baby boomers are now today blaming or saying that Nigerian youths are lazy. They were the baby boomers because these were the people who enjoyed the services of our colonial masters. And as at the time they left schools, they were given vehicles. As at the time they left schools, they were given jobs, free jobs, which they didn't even apply for. Some were even called by communities, come and take this job.
Which the present youth do not have.
Which the present youth do not have. Today, the youth, they labor to pay their school fees. In those days, a parent can tell what the cost of a tuition fee is. Today, do you know, one of our state university here is 190,000 now a tuition fee. So you can imagine that what the youths are going through, the kind of leverage, the opportunity that they had then, the youths never have it.
But does that negate the fact that there are not some lazy, uneducated?
In every society, there are lazy people. In every society, sure. whether in the middle age, in the old, or in the youth, just name them. In every society, there are lazy people. There's nothing bad about that. But one thing I expect the youth to do is that I want to see the youths that will come out to contest with him in this 2019.
Okay, maybe what you
I also want to see the youths that will also, pick up their voter card and tell this man that we are not lazy. We are not lazy people, we are hardworking. I also want to see the youth who will shun money when it comes to the voting this period of time. So I want to see the youth who will actually come out and campaign for youths without demanding for cover. Telling the old man that, sir, you are about 90 years old, go and sit down. Do you know the president?
I don't think you are.
Look at the president. Look at the president of France.
There's no law against the president even running.
There is no law. I agree that there is no law. But you know the president of France is a youth.
You believe in generational change.
Of course, there must be a generational change. If at my age I cannot rule this nation, when will I rule this nation? If my group, my age group, cannot rule this nation as at now, and I'm still believing on Mr. President's age to rule this country for me, I think the youth should actually wake up. It's a wake-up call.
If I may come in here, there's nobody has ruled out the youth since Nigeria was created.
There's nobody?
Nobody. I was 37 years old. One of them nominated me to lead Bende.
Thank you very much.
To lead Bende. Was that not Second Republic? Was that not in the early 70s? It was in the 70s. He said, you are the leader of Bende. Go and form this party there. I was about 37 years old. And then at the end of the day, he said, you are the governor of Bende. I'm nominating you to be the governor. I said, no, I can't be the governor. I'm too young. We debated it for almost 3 months until we agreed that I should. He agreed with me. Then he said, go and bring a candidate. I don't know them. Because the man was not insisting on any youth or old man, or there was no time anybody insisted on youth or old man.
Okay.
I then went and brought Ambusali to him. Took him Ambusali to him, Park Lane, Apapa, Lagos. And we agreed that I should go and work for Ambusali.
The late Ambusali.
The late Ambusali. I became a leader at that age. If a youth is honest, he doesn't take bribe. Don't ask anybody. We were doing an election petition one day. Somebody said, all politicians are corrupt. I said, except me. The man said, who are you? I said, I'm a DOC. From my old man from EC. He said, yes, we know we are not corrupt. They know who, they know. These youths we are talking about. They want to ride a plane.
Okay, but if you look at what has been said so far,
yes,
the fact here is that in such a forum where the president, who is seen as the chief marketing officer of the country, is galvanizing thoughts, ideas for investment into his country,
it's not talking.
Should that be a better way to address this issue?
Yes, when you are talking to the international communities.
Was it demanded that he should make comments about the youths? Was it necessary to have said that?
They know that your youths engage in frivolities. There are more armed robbers now. There are more kidnappers. The youths are the ones. Look at them when they are arrested.
Okay, so if you bring that in, yes, will that market more the country?
It will, in the eyes of international communities who love truth. It will, in my own eyes, in my own estimation, that this man is a true man. He should be allowed to lead this country and infuse truth in them.
All right,
we tell lies with impunity in this country.
Thank you. Well, still this morning on ITV, we've been galvanizing thoughts, ideas in respect of ensuring that we have a very right polity for election year 2019. Well, a drift from that, let's take a look at the aspect of what transpired yesterday morning in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, where the senator representing Kogi Senatorial District, Kogi West Senatorial District, Senator Dino Melaye, was arrested by the Nigeria Immigration Service officials, after which he was released a few hours later. But looking at that, the implication of that, where the Dino Melaye senator representing Kogi West also tweeted later on that his house was under siege by the policemen in his multi-billion naira mansion at Maitama, Abuja. Well, Leo Bagua, yes, this has been following issues about his shunning the police order to appear in court in March 28 in Lokoja over his alleged possession of prohibited firearms. After shunning that and all of this, they also came up with the Interpol watch list, where he was also able to find his way out from that issue that happened in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. What's your view about this in respect of really fighting these charges against him?
The issue of Dino Melaye, I see it as a little bit problematic, in the sense that only Dino can actually say what is happening between him and the people who are after him, because I see it as a case of witch hunting.
You see it as a case of witch hunting?
That's the way I see it, because like I always say, there are strong men in this country. There are no strong institutions. If Dino Melaye has committed any offense, from day one, he would have been arrested and, taken to court. And even when he's not there at the court, he has a lawyer that will represent him. And if that is not the case,
even if he's not there at the court,
yes,
he has a lawyer.
It's a criminal matter.
Is it possible to do that? No, well, we'll be asking the custodian of the law there, but finish.
Okay, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer, but I also know that he's entitled to a lawyer.
Sure.
So that whatever that is going on, his lawyer must have been advising him on which action he could take and that which he could not take.
Yeah.
But the issue of arresting him and a few hours later he regains his freedom You know, that
and then laying siege to his house.
Well, that's what I'm telling you, that, you know, it becomes a case of witch hunting. If you lay siege to his house, are you preventing him? Do you have a search warrant? Do you just go in to search him, or you just go there to lay siege, to embarrass him? Okay. What is your purpose?
Okay, but yesterday morning, the FCT Police Command refuted a claim that they never had any alert or any instruction whatsoever to arrest any senator. All right, but not after it was established that they were arrested by the Nigerian Immigration Service officials. In all of this, Eddie Osifo, as a custodian of the law, what do you make of this? Is it right? Is it lawful? Does it infringe on the fundamental human rights of the Senator Dino Melaye?
Well, once a crime is alleged against you,
Yes.
and you have no immunity of any type, the law enforcement agents are free to go after you. They are alleged that this man had a gun without permit. It's a crime under our law. And there are many, the people who are after him, he has an axe to grind with the Kogi state governor.
Okay.
Yes. They are after themselves.
You see?
People also allege that Kogi state governor had 2 registration voters card.
Okay.
It must be somebody who went to investigate how he registered. So that's why we avoid cases. The Dino Melaye too has shown a type of the impunity that we carried on in Nigeria. When police invites you, go and explain. If they arrest you, if they ask you questions, answer it. You may be able to explain it away. That they are not asking how he built his house, because they are earning a lot of money, they can build any house.
What multi-billion naira?
That is what we are saying about Nigeria. And they want us to continue in that light. So,
Okay, but let's follow this logically. In March 28th,
Yes.
in Kogi, where he was supposed to be in court,
yes.
he shunned the police order
Yes.
to appear in court.
court.
What's the implication of that?
That's impunity. That's impunity. He thinks it's above the law.
Okay.
And I want a situation where nobody will be above the law.
Okay, but can his lawyer represent him in the case?
No.
Like what Leo Baba said?
Lawyer cannot represent him because it's a criminal matter. Okay. Yes. If it's a civil matter, I think that's what my friend is talking about. If it's a civil matter, lawyer can represent him without being present. But when it's needed, he comes to make his own statement or to give his own evidence. But in a criminal matter, he must appear personally to answer the charges. And if he refuses to appear, it's another charge against him.
Okay, so do you see it as...
They could issue bench warrant against him and convict him on the basis of bench warrant before the main case.
In assumption.
Yes, they could do it. If you ask him to come to defend himself under the bench warrant and he failed to come, they could try him in absentia and convict him.
Okay, but there is this impression that the government is playing politics with it in order to get him nailed in the process.
Yes, everything in Nigeria is politics. I must let you know. Even the defense is going to put up is going to allege politics. Even what you see, everything is politics. Like this sequence we are talking about is politics. Let us be very, very frank. It's politics. What people do, people commit crime. When they arrest them, they say yes because I'm not supporting them. I'm not in their party. And all these people they are arresting to reform money to do this because they are in their party. When you say name them, there's nobody to name. You will say even those who are working with Buhari are all corrupt. When you say name one, you will say Amechi. When you say what did Amechi do? Well, you know when Amechi was being screened by the Senate, Amechi presented a report on Wilkes Commission on him and told senators, challenged senators to point anywhere where he was indicted. I was looking at it on the television. Nobody was able to say this is where you are indicted. And after that, Nigerians will call him corrupt man. The man is lazy. He would have taken everybody to court. That's what was done in the First Republic. You could not, people, the First Republic, they were taking everybody who say you are corrupt like that to court. I only took Joshua to court.
Irrespective of the party.
What did it take party? Jasuma was NCNC. Awolowo was acting. He made statements, libelous statements against Awolowo. Awolowo took him to court. When he was fined, he said, "Oh, we cannot pay this fine unless Awolowo wants him to go to jail." He said, "If you choose to go to jail, you can go. But if you choose to cross to my party, you can come. I will teach. I will tell. I can tame you." So the man crossed, became action group. So the present people are not. They just say anybody is a thief. They just, like it was alleged recently that this government here diverted rice. If it were in the old days, they would take the man to court straight without wasting time for libel.
Okay. Leo Ipagwa, as we round off, let's quickly look at the punchline where he shunned a police order to appear in court. I believe a commoner or a common Nigerian man can do that and go scot-free.
No,
except there's a restraining order, which from information getting, none like that.
No.
So what would have warranted that?
Philip,
like what Eddie Osifo said.
Yes.
That is impunity.
Impunity.
So what's your reaction about it?
I don't see it as a case of impunity. I see it as an issue whereby, to him, Dino see it as, a corrupt police officer arranging him before a judge. An officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria using his seat and his uniform against him as Dino, not actually coming out as a different person. He sees it as a police officer who has taken side before they even met him, before they even get his statement. He has already taken side. To him, it's like you are part of them. You are not different. I mean, if there's any person who has to arrange him, not you. Any charges you are bringing on him is biased. Is biased.
Okay, but the police also said, like the police spokesman in Kogi State,
yes,
made it clear that he is to be arraigned May 10, alongside the suspects. Yes, who confessed that he gave them firearms and some amount of money, yes, which were later rearrested after they disappeared from the cell in Benue State. They were later rearrested. So how do you follow the process in terms of being arraigned in May 10? Are you saying that it's not lawful for him to do that?
Issues in court.
For him to be arraigned?
To me, I'm not a lawyer, but issues in court, I expect that such issues should not be discussed in the faces of the newspaper. Now, for the police to say he will be rearranged on so day, and they have a confessional statement from two persons who confessed that he was the one who gave them arms. To me, that is these are all stage managed. Of course, these are all stage managed. That is why from day one, Dino has seen it as the law enforcement agency, they are biased. It is the court that would have determined that, not the police. The police, your own is to arrest and to arrange. You understand? Now, before you even charge the person to court, you have even predetermined the outcome of the case. Okay. So that is why to Dino, he sees them as, you are part of those group that is after him, and he preferred to face charges in other courts, or rather in other state than his own state. Could be.
Okay, I want you to also weigh his side of the argument.
Yes, the argument is faulty in the sense that it is not what Dino sees the situation. It's not the way Dino sees the situation. Okay. It is the way situation is. The way situation is that Dino has committed the crime. Whether his enemy or his friend
as alleged.
Whether his friend or his enemy is the one inviting him, he must oblige him, because that is the work of that man too.
When the truth is not going to come from that person.
Look, Omo could readily allege that he sees the Senate as corrupt people.
That is why he forcefully came back.
Now that's what I'm saying now.
That is why he forcefully came back.
That's what that's impunity. You don't want to see. That's not the way he sees it. It's the way we will see it. And we condemned it and said, no, you wouldn't have gone there to do anything if you were like it, if you were the one who did it. It's not the way Dilo Malaro sees it. It is the way the law sees it. It is the way those who implement the law see it. Like what is happening? They often say, oh, this arrest the people are making, this decision they are making it against PDP. Give me the name of, publish the person in APC who are stolen and see whether the law will not be after him.
Who is to publish?
The person alleging. Who? The person alleging. No, the man who alleges proofs. That's the law. If you allege that I'm a thief, prove that I'm a thief.
When he doesn't have the instruments to prove?
Then why, if he has no instrument to prove, why did he have instrument to allege? The man should have his facts before alleging.
Okay, so if he has an instrument to allege,
yes,
he should have an instrument to prove.
The instrument to prove is the evidence.
Is the evidence.
Yes. I have to prove it. No, I don't know that way.
But are you saying evidence can't be killed?
Oh, you kill evidence, you suffer for it.
Because it's one thing for you to say, this is the evidence.
This is, yes.
It's another for it to be turned over as no evidence.
You see
is it not possible?
You see the cause killing evidence.
Couldn't that be what has been happening in Nigerian leadership in terms of not finding a round way or a conclusive way
of
in
convicting
yes.
looters?
Yes.
Yes, they kill evidence. Some courts kill evidence, and we know about it. You see, but we know. When we know, we say that judge is corrupt. We keep saying it until one day the judge meets his Waterloo. There's nothing you can do about it. You are not going to fight the judge because he turned the truth upside down. Okay. You will find his Waterloo surely. Okay. At one time or the other.
Okay. Your parting shot as we round off.
Yes.
The way forward in respect of
the way forward.
Issues we've
the way forward is that there should be the government should continue to fight corruption and should have no exemption in that regard. And people who allege that somebody is corrupt must prove it, or they suffer the consequence of wrong allegation.
Looking at the 2019 elections.
Look at the 2019 election, and yes, I know that restructuring is going to be a feature in the election. They should know that restructuring is a must. But restructuring is not the immediate problem we have.
So to you, it can't happen now.
It can't happen now. We should clear ourselves of certain ills. It's so much. Go and see what is happening. Village against village. One village you go and raid the other one, kill several people. I'm sorry, we didn't ask anything about these herdsmen.
Yes, because that's all of the issues that they said that restructuring could address.
No,
like state policing and all of that. Because if you put that into consideration, that could go a long way in fighting that.
They forgot
that is for another day.
We forgot that there was state policing,
all right,
local government policing, and we begged for them to withdraw ACODA, or what they call it, the local government policemen from the streets.
Okay, as we round off, Leo Bagua, thank you very much, Eddie Osifo.
Okay. I think what should be at the front burner is that every Nigerian, every one of us, including me, we should think of building a strong institution and play less on our strong men. Because by the time we have strong institutions, then we are not setting this country, this Nigeria, on a better note. And the issue of restructuring, I expect that it should be the front burner in this election, and it should be the determining factor.
It should be the determining factor.
And the youths should also come out and contest with Mr. President, and they should go and dust their voters card. They should bring in their youth. You know what? When you say youth, youth is power. They should come out in mass and see what the youth can do. Tell those
that no to financial inducement.
And say no to financial inducement.
No to thuggery.
That's correct. And say no to thuggery. And come out and exercise your franchise. Because if actually they cannot take the destiny in their own hands as at now. A pastor said a while ago that at the age of 37, he was already leading this state. Yes. So I also expect that more younger person should be leading this state.
Not even this state, Bembe state.
Leading Bembe state, which was because we have Bembe states. Yes. So I also expect that much more younger person should be in Aso Rock come 2019.
No, they love money. Love money, they cannot.
Not they, you can say some.
Some.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, like they say, the love of money is the root of all evil. That's what the Book of Wisdom says.
Yes.
Many thanks, Barrister Eddie Osifo, for being a part of it. This show is quite heartwarming having you. And Leo Bagua, many thanks for being very articulate and vibrant on this show. I really say
thank you very much.
We are impressed about it.
Thank you.
Well, that's why we'll call it a round off on the discussion segment insurance segment could happen on you any moment from now. Don't you go away.